The Kid LAROI dropped his long-awaited album the first time over the weekend, and now that I've had a weekend to sit with the project, we're going to tier list it front to back and do a song-by-song review here on a tier list. As you can see here, we got all 20 songs, and this weekend was absolutely amazing. There's so many new projects that dropped, but this one I got tons of listens in, and I can already say that this is LAROI's best project by far. There's like a gap between what his best projects are. This was on another level of the whole entire F Love series, and I just saw so much improvement with LAROI, but we're gonna get into the song by song. First of all, I just want to say that Sorry, you could argue that this is the best rap LAROI song that he's ever made, bringing in those type of samples. It did have a beautiful kind of strings going on in the outro, which is beautiful. Like the whole production of it is nice. The Lyrical Lemonade video was just so hard and was reminiscent of his other Lyrical Lemonade videos, so it's really cool to see. Basically, LAROI is battling tons of stress and all this shit going on in his life, and there's so many ups and downs to life, right? And like one thing I realized listening to this song and LAROI rapping, and he got braggadocious at times and had his fun on this song, each verse of the song, but on this song it's so relatable sometimes because me and LAROI are like the same age, and so I understand what he's saying when he says his girlfriend's upset because I'm always fucking working. Like that is like relatable to me, and so I realized there's a lot of relatable stuff on this project and in other songs we'll dive into. But Sorry was an amazing opener. I'm so glad he opened with this track. Arguably my favorite song. That's one of the best songs he's ever made, and to open up with that was amazing. That was way better than the other I Can't Go Back to the Way It Was intro. As cool as that song was, this one was again on another level. I'm gonna go ahead and put Bleed. I'm gonna put it right at the A tier just because it is very catchy. If the chorus wasn't as good, I'd honestly move it down, but the chorus is really, really catchy. It gives it that replay value. My favorite part of the song is when it does build up again. Those drums come in and it builds up into that last chorus, and it's a fairly simple song, heartbreak song, but again one that can be relatable. I think Bleed, very cool song. I think I prefer some of the other songs around it, opening up on that first leg of songs. Alternative kind of pop song. I enjoy like all types of styles of LAROI, whether it's rap or singing, or Bleed is still right up my alley, and when I need that song, it's gonna be there for me. But after that, I Thought That I Needed You, gonna be another S tier. I about creamed my pants when I heard Benny X and Filthy. Benny X. There's like this guitar beat, so many like little vocal samples as well on this project. There's some tucked underneath the 808s on this one, and this is exactly everything that you want from a LAROI rap song. Like LAROI's not gonna miss on the chorus. We fell out of love in December, still dated for 6 months after, like talking about that type of stuff. Low-key, the MVP of this project was LAROI's ex. I ain't gonna name her, but this dude was punching in some of his hardest verses to date, and I feel like the songs that he added like after that just had another oomph to him, what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he's not stopping. He's going to keep dropping in 2024. But Where Do You Sleep? This is another one that is just peak in my opinion. Like this is just another level of rap LAROI that we've never seen before, and like it's almost like a Drake type song when it flips into that second half. That last verse coming in, switching up the beat, was one that made this song S tier. If it didn't have that beat switch, it'd probably just be A tier, but this is one that right away he's talking a shit. I'm not gonna name drop you X, but these are the problems you gave me, so and so, and so he talked about a lot of that on the project, as he should. But Where Do You Sleep, Where Do You Stay, that type of stuff. Was she cheating? Was she unfaithful? Dude, I don't know, but we were trying to figure that out on the project. I thought this was gonna be a full-on rap song, but you do get that like breakdown and where it's like you're floating in space and there's like synths and like I would have never expected that type of production, but it really shows how crazy LAROI can get. And this was a project that every single song pretty much sounded different from each other, so it was quite the experience 1 through 20 on that first listen we had on Friday. But to dive into the next song, I'm gonna give Too Much an A tier. I think it's a great pop song for what it is. I think Jungkook came on, did the chorus justice, but at the same time I think that Central C and LAROI, if they collabed again, could make an even better song. As much as I love those two, and they're both doing their thing on this kind of pop type beat, I just feel like Central C did his thing, said his bars that he usually does, and I liked his verse a lot. LAROI's kind of little second verse, little bridge part in the song was also very, very nice. I've talked about this song a lot. I'm fine with it. That's gonna be like the most popular one on the track list. Next after that, Tear Me Apart was my absolute grail going into it, snippet wise, and I love these type of kind of acoustic songs where it was just LAROI and that ukulele, and I know it's really short, but it's everything that I absolutely wanted, and I could sit here and play the song 10 times in a row, just late night vibe. It's just very emotional. You could tell LAROI, he's very like honest on this project. Like, he said a lot of deep things, and I felt like the lyrics really touched me on this project more than they ever have on a LAROI project. Tear Me Apart is just absolutely beautiful all the way to the end of the song. I wish he just kept going, honestly. That little ending part, those last, you know, few notes that he hit when he was singing and like where that song was transitioning to, it's fine, you know, being short as it is, and that song was everything that I wanted it to be. So S tier, that is peak LAROI in my opinion. And then the Strangers interlude, I'll just throw this up at good, just because, you know, it's an interlude. I like that the beat on this one transitioned into the next song, Nights Like This. I thought that was a good touch. I love when albums have transitions and storylines to it, but LAROI on that was, you know, just talking about everything that he did for this girl, everything he went through for the last 3 years. We knew he was going to tell this story, and, you know, the storyline was cool, you know, the first times bringing on all these people, and Nights Like This followed up after. Very short song as well. I think that the production on this one was mainly the focus, and there's a lot of good production on this project, I'd say. Again, another step up for LAROI was on the production side of things. I waited for the song for a long time. It almost doesn't even sound like LAROI on that verse, but really you're just kind of waiting for that beat drop, and it is exactly what it sounds like, you know, Nights Like This, late night type of song. You know, you're floating around and you're just high as hell listening to the song. I can't put it in the same, you know, S tier as like a Sorry, right? The performance we got on that song was crazy. The little vocals breaking it down at the end were also a nice touch. What's the Move was one of the better rap songs as well. I really don't have any problems with this song. I see a lot of replay value out of it. I love the beat. I don't know, I assume those were like some vocals or something turned up in the back. I don't even know what it's made of, but LAROI, you got a catchy hook on there. Again, great performance by him. All of his rap performances were just better than usual and just turned up a notch. Future slid in so easily and probably didn't even try on this verse, but he sounded so nice. The only controversial part is Baby Drill, but I don't think this song drags on to where he ruined it. It's really interesting, his verse. I could have said maybe like a Giveon or someone singing, doing a similar breakdown type of outro to the song would also work. But for Baby Drill, I actually enjoy it, and I actually look forward to his part of the song. It's definitely the ending of the song had to grow on me a little bit, and I'm not joking when I say this. I enjoy the entire song, and it's weird because in context of the album, I think the Baby Drill feature works better, whereas if this song was just a single, I'd probably say take him off of it. Strangers interlude, I'll just put it at good. I enjoy it with the album. You get a 1 minute little Justin Bieber talking about the first time that he saw his wife and met his wife Haley, which is really cool. And I feel like Justin, who wasn't on this project, although it seems like he probably helped out on it was really cool to see him be on this project, even if it was just an interlude, because I feel like it needed to be done. Justin Bieber's probably one of the people who's helping LAROI. That's the GOAT. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's older, he's probably more mature, like he's been through a lot of stuff. And like LAROI, who's a younger Post Malone, Justin Bieber type of artist, like to get mentored by them and be in the studio with a guy like Justin Bieber and like be friends with him, I'm sure that helps out a lot. And I thought that was a cool little story, and I liked all the people he had on the project bring on their first time stories, and so that was a cool little surprise. And then after that, we got the very melodic, just such a different approach. LAROI had a lot of different voices on this project. Like, you could tell he's definitely expanding on his vocals too, because again, this almost didn't even sound like him. A lot more of a slower melodic song. You got Robert Glasper on the piano, was nice. One of the weirdest ones on the project. It's very mellow and a light song, and I feel like you never would have expected someone like Youngboy to be on this. This is different than anything else, you know, they've made, and this was something so different. So I can see how that Youngboy feature was so hit or miss for people. Weirdly enough, I like it. I like that Youngboy just comes on talking. There's like an extra like layer of bass kind of added in for him only on his part, and I feel like there needed to be a feature of some sort. And I know Youngboy, you know, whether you like him or not, I feel like he did his thing. I could go without maybe the high notes or trying to sing towards the end of his verse wasn't the greatest. It does make me cringe a little bit. It's not like the greatest feature ever. I'll leave it at A. Like, I enjoy this song. It gets plays out of me. It played on the album, and then after that we have Deserve You, which is another like grail in the community. This song again just turned out to be a better like F Love 3 song. I think that he did his thing, the typical kind of LAROI flow melodic rap on that first part of the song, and I thought that it was really catchy. I wouldn't say it was like a filler type song, but when he went back in and added that last verse, it wasn't really a beat switch like Where Do You Sleep, but it was LAROI punching in just one more verse to really give that song a rewarding feeling. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, again, adding that at the end, the song's not too long. Most of these songs are, 2-3 minutes. I would say for a 20 song long album, it's not like it dragged on. Like, it feels quick, which is fine, and it's a great listen front to back. But Deserve You is one I look forward to. It's just a great LAROI song. It's the definition of an A, in my opinion. I could see it moving up, honestly, with time. Some of these songs were almost, Drake influenced, in my opinion, and I love Deserve You. And then What Went Wrong, probably one of the biggest bangers on the project. I'm gonna put this one at A for now. Again, a couple of these in A, could be moving up. I'm just not trying to put everything in S as much as I'm enjoying this project. But this one was the Benny X beat. I don't know if he added like horns in the background or what that was, but the whole production of it is so exciting. Like, Benny X has just been on a hot streak, and it's crazy because as much as I love Benny X and how much I love LAROI, I would never expect them to cross paths, or I was almost worried. I was doubting the fact that their song was going to be good together. I'm not even going to lie, because it was so weird. I didn't know what it was going to be. A good performing song, I'm sure, and so I think a lot of fans are gonna like it. And I feel like at each one of the verses, he did his thing performance wise. I loved his singing at the end of each one of the verses. They'll send off, Take Her Back for Round 2, catchy chorus on there. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and put the line at good. This might be a hot take. I think David's cool. When it comes to these like slower songs and more acoustic guitar type songs, I'm taking Tear Me Apart, and that's why I like that one so much. Now, if there was no like Tear Me Apart on this project, I'd probably like the line more when I'm going for that type of song. And I think the line is so cool. It's almost hard to tell who's who because their voices are so similar, and they kind of each had, were sharing parts of the song, and I think they sound good. I think the flow pattern's very, simple but catchy, and may not be my favorite on the project, but I'll listen to it with the album and I will enjoy it. I enjoy every track on this, so I have to be a little bit critical. I can't just put everything up in S. Again, I think that one can grow on me. I just feel like over this first weekend, that's one I've been listening to like the least amount. But after that, What Just Happened, I've already said that's like one of my grails. I'm so glad that dropped. I love the kind of the pop punk-ish influence in it. I don't think the song is honestly too complex, but it's got a chorus on it that is just so deadly, and the drums on it are amazing. And I wish this one did drop earlier. I think it would be even better and would have done better if he dropped it earlier, but I'm not complaining. I think like this is like a staple LAROI song, or at least one that the fans know and know that's a staple LAROI song, and I feel like it's just gotta be an S tier. Like, I play it all the time, every single day since it's released as a single. After that, we have You, which is actually growing on me a lot today, and I find really catchy. He did talk a lot about his ins and outs of relationships, or post his ex-girlfriend relationship from this year, and I think this one is a good melodic bag. This was the one that sounded most like Bieber, in my opinion. I love the pop LAROI, very upbeat and happy, and I think that sometimes you just need these songs, man. And like, I'm glad that he added a little pop section here at the end of the project, because there's all types of ups and downs in this album, and again, I feel like it tells a story and is structured well. It's one that catches on. I think that's one of the more underrated ones. But after that, to continue kind of in the pop section, I think Love Again just has to be an A. It's one of my most played songs all year. I will say, for these last 4 songs, my only complaint on the project right now is the fact that these last 4 was a skit, and then they were all singles. I know we got the rest of Kids Are Grown Up, but like, I pretty much had already like played out all of the singles, or at least the older ones from earlier on, at least the first half of the year, so much. Like, I have like triple digits for sure on every single one of those songs, and so it made it a little weird listening to the album, because I'm trying to listen to all the new songs and dive into all this new content for this album the first time, but at the same time, I didn't want to like just sit through Love Again over and over again. I realized now, in context of the album, I'm okay with Love Again being on here at this point in the album. I could have gone without it, if I'm being honest. As great as a song as it is, it's an I guess it's love situation where it could be dedicated or written to the wrong person at this point. Where's Your Spirit Go is a very, very special song, and I'm gonna put it at A. Probably one of the saddest songs, piano ballad, just heart-wrenching lyrics and emotions coming out, and you got that on a few songs on this project. It's very, very raw, as a couple songs were. I think this one deserved to be on the project. I almost could have waited for this one on the project, and maybe even have made it better. Like, imagine I just heard Where's Your Spirits Go, even though there was a snippet and a performance. I've even seen it performed, actually. I feel like this was one that I almost could have waited for on the album, and I would have been just absolutely shocked, and I almost probably would have cried on Friday if I would have heard this one, come out on Friday. And I think that's the only downfall of this project, now that I'm on the singles section, is there was like 6-7 singles. In the future, I do want LAROI to only drop a couple singles and whatnot and have a better rollout, but I get the fact that this album took a while. LAROI went through stuff and made changes, and I will say I'm glad we waited until November to get the content that we did. I think LAROI adding in extra verses, adding in songs, switching things around, I think he gave us a very, very solid track list with us to look forward to new music in 2024 and a deluxe. Like, we're getting fed, and I absolutely have no problems with this album. Like, this is one of the best albums this year. You never forget your first time. The last little interlude, this one's longer because it has more people's stories. I'm not sure who everyone is, and you get people talking about relationship problems. Someone's mom or something got hit with cancer and dealing with that, and dealing with moving is what LAROI's brother was talking about. It's like, this is real stuff, and this is why this album's so relatable, and I love that he brought on people to talk about their first time stories. Pretty much every song, lyrically had a purpose. LAROI had a direction of what he was going to talk about, what he was going to get off his chest, and what it meant. This added good context to the storyline of the album, and I think that the last song, Kids Are Growing Up, is one of the best songs he's ever made, so that one has to be in S tier, up at the peak Larry. But to talk about this song, as much as I love just the part one and the single, this is a single maybe that isn't as overplayed, but that's maybe because it's more focused on lyrics. Like, I think the beat is cool, it's pretty simple, but LAROI does his thing on the verses. The chorus is insane. It's almost another song in itself, where it's got you floating and has so much meaning behind it. This song has some of the most deepest meanings in the entire project. When you get to that second verse, and it's all LAROI dedicating that verse to his mother, the things he's been through, reminiscing on stuff. Such a cool song. Seriously, one of the best written songs he's ever been to. I feel like the verse, he was talking, what was on his mind or what he was going through. But yeah, when he added on that second verse, took the song to another level, fit as an outro. But lastly, I just want to say, I knew that LAROI was going to come through. I had high hopes that he was going to make a lot of progression on this project and that this was going to be good. But after Friday, I was just genuinely shocked. He could be all over, and I feel like he did a good job of bringing it in, still having a theme and still a good structure. This is going to be a top 5 project of the year, and don't get blinded by nostalgia, please. Your opinion's your opinion, but come on, this is easily LAROI's best project he's ever made by a landslide. Thank you guys for watching and supporting all weekend and supporting all the LAROI videos this entire year. Other than that, I have a Twitter, Instagram. Go check me out there. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of the video. Peace.